Hi everybody, it's Lucy from Mind Food. Welcome to this week's session of Growing Wellbeing. This week we're going to talk about the 5 ways to wellbeing. So these are 5 things that you can do to help improve your wellbeing, and we'll come to those in a minute. But first, I thought it was worth taking a second to talk about why nature is so important to promoting wellbeing, and also why it's such a useful backdrop to any learning that you're doing. So I'm going to assume that if you are watching this, you've got an idea about how it is to have a fried or frazzled brain, to know that feeling that you cannot take any more information on. A lot of people experience brain fog when they just can't take on any more information. The whole of the real world's a bit of a blur, really, and that's where nature is really, really good at coaxing you back into to now. And there's been quite a lot of research done on the subject, and the biggest theory is attention restoration theory, and that's how nature helps restore your attention, helps you focus again, and helps you get a grasp on now in a way that's very gentle and very settling. And it was researched back in the 70s and 80s by the people who are known for it best are the Kaplans, and they found that there were 4 elements that can really make a huge difference to your well-being in nature. So the first thing is extent. So being in nature offers a world away from the pressures of everyday life. It's a completely different setting for you to be in. The second thing is that it has extent, so it's an absolutely limitless subject. There's always something new to learn about it. The third thing is soft fascination, so it's an ever-changing scene. There's always something that can draw your attention, whether it's the wind moving in the leaves of the trees, it could be a ladybird crossing a leaf, it could be a bee visiting a flower. These are little things that are grabbing your attention, but just in a super gentle way. And then the fourth thing is compatibility. So that is, if you want nature to work for you, or think that it will, then it probably will. And this is quite an interesting one, because I think a lot of us don't really know whether nature's going to work for us, and particularly living in a city, there are you kind of feel like you've made your choice, almost turned your back on nature, but it really doesn't have to be like that. London is 47% green, which is huge, and so really it must just be about resetting your focus. And actually, if you discover at the end of this course that nature isn't your thing, then don't worry, really. It might be that you need to find something else that's compatible for you. And there are lots of other subjects that can do the same, offer the same escape and extent and soft fascination. So it might be about art, or it might be about, it could be about doing something creative. It could be about literature or film. So there are lots of things to try. So the important thing is to keep on trying things that are going to really coax your attention back into a more productive way of being. This said, nature is a fantastic free resource, which is obviously well worth protecting and nurturing and taking advantage of. And what's more, because it has such a settling effect, it can really help you take on more information. So it's a brilliant place to start when you're wanting to learn new things. And so I'm sitting here in the rain, talking to you about the 5 ways to well-being, and I'm hoping, even with just the tiny bit of nature in the background, it's going to soften your thinking into taking on new information. So the 5 ways to well-being are 5 things you can do that can make a huge difference to your well-being. They are taking notice of life in the present, and not dwelling on the past or spending all your time worrying about the future. They're connecting, so keeping up with friends and family, but also connecting with your environment, with wildlife, with your community. Then there is being active, and that's just about being as active as you can possibly be. So for some people it might be going for a walk or having a run, but for other people it might be taking a dance class or practicing yoga. Then there's keeping on learning, so that's trying new things, listening to different opinions. It could be trying a new recipe. It doesn't have to be bookish or, signing up for an open university degree or anything like that. It's just about proving to your brain that it can still take on new information, that it can evolve and change. And then the final one is giving, and giving is about small acts of kindness, and that could be about volunteering or donating, but it could be something as little as smiling at somebody who looks like they could do with a lift, or phoning somebody who might be feeling lonely. It's a good way of proving to yourself that you've still got something to give. So it's really it's a really helpful and easy thing to improve your well-being. So the first thing that you really need to do in terms of your 5 ways to well-being is to kind of take stock. So some people who are very will find that they can do these 5 ways without even thinking. Anybody with a bit of an adult brain probably needs to take a moment to weave them into their day. It's very easy if you're depressed to cut yourself off. You might be feeling like you need to hide yourself away, and after a while it might be that you actually lose the habit of connecting with other people, or it might be that you're spending so much time worrying that you're not noticing things around you, like for example worrying about work when you're on holiday. It's just such a waste of a good moment. So there's lots of things. So have a little think about which of the 5 ways are going to need a bit more attention this week, and see if you can focus on one and really try and build on it. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of exercises. One is that, and they're both about noticing. So the first is that you're going to check in with the way that you're thinking 3 times a day. So maybe in the morning, at lunchtime, or in the evening, you're going to think, how am I feeling right now? And see if there's any pattern there. You don't have to really do anything with the information, you just need to notice it. Then the other exercise is you're going to do something called senses 1, 2, 3. So here's how the senses 1, 2, 3 exercise works. First of all, you're going to look around you for 3 things. 3 things that are all as different from each other as you can possibly muster. So take a little bit of time to make sure that you're really going for 3 very, very different things. Maybe 1 natural thing, 1 man-made thing, and maybe, I don't know, a third thing might be something in the sky. It might be a moving thing. So 3 things that are as different from each other as possible. Then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to move on to your sense of hearing. So you're going to listen out for 3 noises, 1 in your immediate vicinity, might be voices or a radio. You're going to listen a little bit further away, you might hear birds or a dog barking. And then you're going to listen out for something as far away as possible. So that might be a hum of traffic, it might be an aeroplane, you see. And then the third thing you're going to do is you're going to feel for 3 textures. And you're going to have a think about how they feel and were they exactly how you were thinking they were going to feel. And if it's not appropriate to be getting up and moving around to feel all these different things, you could have a go at feeling what you can feel without moving a muscle. So can you feel your feet in your shoes? Or can you feel your feet in your socks in your shoes? No shortcuts here, remember. Can you feel your coat on your shoulders? Can you feel maybe the wind against your face? What can you feel without moving at all? So there are your 2 exercises. Hope you enjoy them. That basically you're practicing giving yourself a break from your busy thinking, and your brain will really thank you for it. It's obviously thinking is a really useful thing to do, but you do need to find ways to stop when you need a break. So if you enjoyed today's session, and I hope you did, if you could like us, love us, or follow us on Facebook and share this with anybody who you feel could benefit. And I'll see you on Wednesday for a bit of growing advice. Speak to you soon. Bye.